Are regular bodybuilding and mid-tier gyms dying? Let's talk about it. How you doing, YouTube? This is Ken, Body Sculptors Method, Body Sculptors. So Friday night, every Friday night at the gym, I close because I feel like there's lost opportunity when you don't pay attention to the customers that may be walking in on those days. A lot of times people think Fridays are days where it's just a waste, or the boring people work out on Friday nights because they have nothing to do. But with me, I always feel as if on a Friday, if someone is going to come into a gym to check it out, that they're really, really serious. And a lot of times, previously, I've had like employees that worked on Friday nights and really just did not real take it seriously. And what I mean by that is that they just were like, oh, it's a Friday night, I'm bored, I'm at work, I just want to get this over with. Whereas me, every time that I've had Friday nights, and I've typically done very well in terms of getting clients to come in, tell me their goals, walk them through the facility, and give them the appropriate packages based off their lifestyle. So the start of my shift, I'm here, I sit at the front desk, all my employees are gone for the day. So right now, what I'm going through is our leads and calling people to see if they answer the phone. If they not, I'll leave them a message. I'll probably send them a text message and take it from there. All right, so look, I'll see you later, man. I'll be at the front desk. My name's Ken. All right. All right, cool, man. See you soon. Bye. All right, so great. So that guy sent his lead in. He was waiting for information. It took a while to get back to him. And he said that he was thinking about stopping in. So instead of just, bunching him up and killing him with a whole bunch of information, just give him a day pass. Say, look, man, you already did the work by wanting to give us your information and put it in our system. So obviously you're interested. So I'll give you the day pass. You come check out the gym. If you like it, I'll tell you about all the crazy things that we're going to be adding to the facility, or just a little bit more. And then we take it from there. So, and that's it, So now I just put the notes in. Coming tonight for a 3-day pass. And that's it. So now, we'll just go over a process of talking to him about all the things we're going to be doing. Also explain to him like our expansion of the recovery room, our expansion of the not hyperbaric chamber, I'm sorry, salt room, and then let him know where his options are from there. So that's great. So now that one's down. We have a couple more leads, and we'll see how these go. And then after that, we're going to go over a couple of pricing things with billing and making sure we can keep costs down, especially when we haven't done anything to increase them, like insurances is going up. It's just a billing thing. It's the environments, it's the way things are going. So we just have to make sure expenses are controlled. On top of that, just getting information out. The gym is going to be at a spot for a movie, so we have to keep that under wraps, but have to put notices out. People, the parking lot's going to be half full, so please bear with us. Blah 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 blah, things like that. So I'm going to finish this last lead call. After that, you guys can come with me, where I'm just going to be going into the new recovery room and kind of like planning in my head where we're going to start the painting and taping, and also putting panels up to make it look good, because I do want to do a re-grand opening on the 20th, which is also our town's town day, where they do like a festival in the park that's across the street from our town hall. So I really want to make it a point where I can actually give things out and see if I can get some traction. All right. So I'm gonna call one more lead, and then I'll hit you guys back when we walk through the new recovery room, my old office. All right. All right. So before we get into doing a tour of how we're going to get this renovation done, or just not even renovation, just so quick changes, changing the recovery room to a bigger area, Himalayan salt room in the current area where the salt room, well, where the safe is, and then adding a couple of new devices that are like really, really cool. So I'm gonna do a quick arm workout. Got these dumbbells right here. And then after we're done, we'll get right to this tour. All right, cool. All right, so we're finished doing all the leads and calling. Now it's a little late out. We have the Friday night owls out in the town, and they're working out in the gym. So I'm gonna talk to you about the changes that we're gonna be making to Body Sculptors, and not changes, but more like upgrades or expansion. And the reason why we're doing this is because I feel, and I know some of you are here for the title, where I said that, is this the end of the era for new bodybuilding gyms? And even, it's not even just those, it may be just new gyms in general. And the reason being is because the days of just opening your doors and having people just walk in and say, hey, can I have personal training? Hey, I just want to join, are over. And the reason why I say that is because rising costs. You know, the cost of things now it's outrageous, and you can't just keep a gym open off of memberships alone and barely any personal training. One of the biggest problems you're going to have is personal trainers aren't making that much money because you have greedy gyms that just take more than 70% of the profit or 75% of the profit from a training session. So then you have people that are very, very talented and training, but just aren't making the money. So they're like, look, I'm not doing this anymore. Or they do it part-time. So that's when you're gonna start having those issues, and you're gonna have to look at another way of, you know, having this business. So with body sculptors, remember when I first did this, as you saw in the first video, you know, I had stomach cancer, and I went somewhere, and you know, I just worked out. But now with so much technology, with so much information available online and in Google, people are being more aware of their health. And even though you have a lot of competition, like you have the gyms like Planet Fitness and other places like that are just, you know, very low cost, you have people after a while that outgrow that and really want to focus on their health. Look at today's stats. You have less people now drinking alcohol than you did in the past because millennials, Gen Z are more aware of their health. So they don't want to drink alcohol. They see the dangers and the after effects of doing those things. You have less people smoking cigarettes as you did before. Of course, marijuana in certain states are legal, but you also have medical marijuana. You don't have medical tobacco. So with that being said, there has to be other ways of transitioning. You have some of the big box gyms like Lifetime and Equinox that you've seen that have implemented memberships that are like $4,000 a month, $2,000 a month, and they're giving you services in order to help prolong health. You have certain things like the guy that wants to live forever, and he's doing like all these different, how you say, biohacking things. So people want to try them out, but they don't want to spend an arm and a leg. So the gyms that have been ahead or have the forward thinking, in my view, are going to be the ones that are going to take it to the next step. I read on a Fitness Insider where you had gyms that were boutique gyms are kind of behind the times because they are just a one stop shop, yoga, this, that, but they don't have big enough facilities in order to have a lot of these biohacking modalities where you have people like, again, those big box gyms that have $4,000 memberships that are like, yeah, we'll raise the price because we're giving people substance and quality with their membership and people are paying. Where you have other gyms that are like, let's just drop the price. Or they're raising their prices just because they're saying, hey, costs are up. But you may have members that say, well, costs are up, but I get the same gym. So how is that my fault? So what else are you giving them? Now, body sculptors, we always had things. We've had cold plunge. We've always had infrared saunas. We've always had red light therapy. We've always had lymphatic massagers. So we've always had those things. And then the next goal for me was to give more. Okay. So right now you have certain things like in-body scanners. That's almost like the bare minimum now. You have to have an in-body scanner. Do you have one? Is it included with your membership now? Or is it something that you include with your certain memberships at a certain tier? Because people want to know where they are. People want to know where their BMI is. People want to know where their body fat is. People want to know where all these different things are. Now you tell me, does your typical bodybuilding gym give those things? You know, you may have some that are behind the curve and now they're getting it. You have people that now have injuries like bulging discs or chronic inflammation and all these different things, arthritis, plantar fasciitis. You know, they have, arthritis in their things, all these different things. So they have all this stuff. So what does your gym do to help with that? You're supposed to be a health facility, right? So if you're a health facility, what do? Are you giving all these different therapies? One therapy would be infrared sauna. You know, infrared sauna, you do that 4 times a week, I'm sorry, for at least 30 minutes, you increase your chances of not having a heart attack by 30%. So are you doing those things? Now let's look at red light therapy. Red light therapy at different modes at an 850 or 650 gives you a whole bunch of different benefits. Now our red light therapy, we have an overhead, and then we also have isolated for specific injuries. Say you got a specific injury like elbow, or you have a specific injury like, shoulder, neck. If you have these injuries, then you have an isolated red light therapy thing. Are we charging extra for that? No, it's just included. Did the gym go up in cost? Yes, it did. But then we also include more things. So yes, you're going to pay more because there are increased costs, but what else are you getting for that increased cost? We have to give them something, right? Then you have like lymphatic shaker massage. Yes, the machine that shakes you that looked weird in the long time ago where you had the ladies with the belt around their hips and they were shaking their butts and stuff. This is the lymphatic massager. We have this. Does it include it? Yes, it is included with the membership. We have the cold plunge, right? Cold plunge is helping. We have a bunch of members that have, bulging discs or slip discs, and they use this and they love it. We have members that come in the morning and do cold plunge because it's their morning coffee, basically. And it gives them that 4-hour boost that they love and need to start their day off. So is that extra? No, people, that's part of our membership. Because we've always had this. So now we just go here. It's part of your membership. There you go. But now the next step is this right here. This room right here is our current recovery room. And it's a big mess, ginormous mess. You have sound beds, you have different types of hyperbaric chambers, you have PMS. So these things that we have readily available for people that know, but it's also our duty to inform people and let them know, like, this is what this technology does. This is how it can help you. This is why we have it. And this room currently is going to be turned into a Himalayan salt room because we have a lot of people that still feeling the effects of COVID. So what are we going to do in order to help those people? Well, I decided to add a Himalayan salt room. Okay. But now, since we're getting a lot of partnerships with doctors and stuff, we need to be able to treat more people at one time. So now we're going to expand it into this room right here. Now, I know this room looks really messy. You know, you have the massage chairs, but this was like my old office. And for me to sacrifice and say, you know what, in order for me to treat people the right way that I want to, in order to do proper evaluations, and for people to have like a history in their own folder, I wanted us to give a safe space where people could feel comfortable. We're going to be doing different things like brain tap. We're going to be doing different things like localized cryo, of course, red light therapy. PMF is something that I do all the time. I love PMF. Hyperbaric chamber, I do 5 times a week. We also have EWAT, exercise with oxygen therapy, but we use that for people that are claustrophobic and don't want to go inside the hyperbaric chamber. Of course, you're not going to get the same benefits, but you are getting oxygen in the same type of compressor, which, you know, these units have. And, you know, taking it to other levels of being able to analyze stress. Well, for me, I've loved data. I felt as if I need to have more information or give our members, our potential members, more information for them to feel healthy and do the things that they want to do. So we are bringing in some VO2, CO2 analyzers to help people breathe better. We are bringing in a couple of different things in order to help people find out how their fat burning and their carb is burning and at what heart rate they're going to be doing these things. So we can properly plan their workouts, properly plan their nutrition, properly plan their de-stress protocols in terms of when to do the sauna, when to do red light therapy, when to do all these cool things, and having it readily available. If people see the benefit, they're going to pay for it. But you have to show that it's worth it. You know, we're not just getting stuff just to say we're getting it. So, yes, do I feel like this is almost the end of the niche bodybuilding gym? Not the big boys. You have the big boys like DMV, which is an amazing gym. The owner of DMV is a genius. You have, you know, Madhouse Gym in Georgia, who I think is the best gym there is. And they just have everything. And the owner, he's a great guy. Met him a couple times. He sold me some pieces of equipment. Every time I send him a message, he answers. He's a great dude. And that gym, it's not going nowhere. You have gyms like Bev's. Come on, that's the Mecca. You know, if you're a bodybuilder, you go there. Yeah, that's not going anywhere, you know. But if you don't have that type of cachet behind your name, you just opening up a door and getting a whole bunch of Prime Fitness and Arsenal equipment and thinking that's what's going to make people come in, it's not going to happen. I don't think so, because how long that's going to last? After a while, the name of the equipment is not going to do anything if people feel as if they want to get healthy, right? So, you know, do I feel it's the end? For new ones that only feel as if it's about opening up a gym, opening up your doors and putting those equipment in, yeah, I do. I personally do. But look, this is just from one person that owned 3 gyms and wanted to be smart. And after understanding that I overreached myself, I downscaled and I went back to 2. And then now I'm down to 1 and really focusing on this gym alone until it gets to the level I feel it can be. And then we take it back up to the next spot. Maybe, you know, opening up maybe more of a wellness thing and then expanding the gym aspect to it after. That's the goal. That's what I think it's going. So the next time we go, we'll go into a couple of things about like all the cool wellness things and how I combine that with lifestyle and working out, you know, because it's very important to me. I do all these things. I do every single one of them. And they're very, very important to my everyday life. So this is Ken from the Body Sculptors Method. Talk to you next time. Signing out.